thrilling moments and amazing games was had yesterday, but today I'm sure will be no different. Welcome everyone to day 3, our final day here at the Eleague studio, and it's all about that right there. The trophy for the Eleague Csgo Invitational. And welcome everybody, Golden Boy here alongside with Moses and Sean Gares as we look to break down all the action for today. We got 2 great matches lined up in front of you. You have Faze going up against Big and Cloud9 waiting in the finals. Guys, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling real good. I'm actually excited for this day. This event has been phenomenal so far, and this first match is going to be so interesting to watch. It's going to be explosive.
Moses is just being smug because he has no predictions wrong at this point.
Yeah, I am flawless. It happens often. I'm used to it.
I've decided not to pick my battle in the prediction war against you. Instead, I'm just going for Sean. Going for the jugular, bro.
You have been attacking me all morning.
I'm going to win this, okay?
It's going to be a really close battle for 3rd place.
Yeah, I believe I saw someone on Twitter say, I hope Big wins so that everyone gets something wrong. And this way, there's no flawless choices. All right, well, it was an incredible day of Counter-Strike yesterday. So let's go ahead and take a look back at the day that was. Hello everybody and welcome to day 2 of the Eleague Csgo Invitational. We are live.
No pressure today, boys. Just want to see us play better than we did yesterday.
Roger that. Red leader, 0-1 Alpha, over.
And a third, Nico. He's getting it done. Tapping for days. Edge of the enemies, and oh, Guardian, he's good for 2.
Absolutely bananas.
Good job. Let's keep it up. Let's keep the energy up. Keep the comms up. Let's not get complacent.
Dev's seen him now. He's going to go for the frag. Oh! Massive headshot from Dev. He took a risk.
Good job, boys. 1 at a time.
Nice. I'll take a drop, please.
Everything is going, working. Everything is good.
Faze now look very dangerous.
Indeed, and they will move on to play the loser of the following match. Meanwhile, Complexity have been eliminated.
You know what time it is?
Oh, no, he's reaching for it.
Time for the CSGO Trivia Challenge. That's right. How has Golden Boy been as a host? Your choices are incredible, amazing, GOAT, magnificent, or drip drip.
Is this a trick question?
Yeah. I didn't see none of the above up there.
James, I am very afraid of my prediction here because either of these teams could knock it out of the park, and I think this is going to be such an exciting series.
One more time. And on 3, big. 1, 2, 3, big. Big.
This is a mauling. Big are mauling Cloud9 in this first half of Cash.
Good save, guys. Let's win the next round. We can break them.
I can take one.
Zelsis versus Tizian with the AWP, but Zelsis has the bomb. He can try to hold the defuse. He's got 1 second to go! Oh no! Cloud9 just about win it. 20 seconds, he's running out of speed. Oh! Back of the head and dead. Cloud9 take the first map.
Cloud9 with an enormous comeback. Oh my goodness gracious me. How have they managed to pull that one out the bag?
Hey guys, I want
Let's go,
to
boys.
forget this last match, okay? We all know what we did wrong, nothing to talk about. Let's concentrate on our bars, have a good mood, support each other, okay? And then we can do it, man.
Really understand, but it's a thing. The double from Kiyoshima, and he's not done just yet. Looking to maybe peek and prod it more. Is there a flashback?
Oh my god, what?
Doesn't matter.
What
Doesn't
is that?
matter.
What kind of ace is that? Are you nuts?
Oh God.
Is that an ace? Yo, do it, ace.
But down goes the bomb, 14 seconds, Goppy through the smoke, oh my god, this is turning into a disaster, at least for Cloud9, fantastic for Big, Goppy's going for the ace.
Left your rush.
They know where he is. Headshot from Automatic, and Cloud9 have done it. What an intense series against Big.
Cloud9 with an absolutely crazy 2-0 of Big, one of the ridiculous comebacks of the year so far.
Man, I tell you, there's something about the month of January and Cloud9 that just works for them. I don't get it, but it's looking good so far for C9. They're in the finals with their 2-0 victory over Big. Big now have to go up against Faze Clan. That's going to be coming up in just a second. But some interesting statistics really to pull away from that is the amount of games that Cloud9, or the amount of rounds, I should say, that Cloud9 had to play to get to that point. Definitely felt like they were taking the harder road there, Sean.
Yeah, every single match going over or 30 or more rounds. So clearly their average 32.3. I mean, they did it in the hardest way. So many comebacks came against them. They had to come back yesterday against Big. I mean, they have had so many individual plays, though. It has been unreal. The players from Cloud9 have come up time and time again in the late game.
That is kind of the wild thing. It is a little bit scary to know they can't close out the games where they have big leads. It's nice to know they can come back in games where they go down big, but this is not making it easy. At some point during the event, you just want to say, why don't we just get this one over with nice and clean?
Yeah, right. That's the hope.
Saving
that's
it for the grand final.
Exactly. Well, unfortunately, what wasn't clean was complexity. Sad times. 0-4 map record.
I don't know, pretty clean in the
Ripping
win column.
pepperonis.
Yeah, it's not been a good ride for them.
I like the music though.
It's very somber.
It's a fair
I
way.
was expecting more of like a Western thing.
I wanted like a Viking.
Oh,
Okay.
You guys
Went
clearly have
different ways.
completely different tastes on what you want for somber music. Okay, well, we're just going to tie that one up with a bow and be done with it. But complexity, unfortunately,
like
for them.
complexity.
0-4, they're going to be out of this one. We'll be seeing them again, though, in the major. That will be coming up very soon. Looking forward to seeing what they can do moving into that. Now, though, we've been having so much fun here at the Eleague studio. Don't worry, though. That's going to come later. Now, it's the meme off. Yes, and I just want to say, community's been fantastic. Really, just sharing
I don't really believe that.
top quality memes. That's what it's all about.
I mean, yeah, they've been really going at Jason.
Yeah,
So,
they
I
really
can
have.
How
appreciate
many
their
of
hard
these
work.
will be ball jokes? That's the question.
Well, let's take a
Not
look at what
enough.
we got now. So this is going to be, again, we need to make the pick, right? Is Eleague's meme versus the community's meme? We got to have a choice, and the desk here, an expert panel of memeologists are going to judge this one.
Oh, this was painful.
This one was rough.
This one did hurt.
You were waiting, you're hoping. Ah,
There you go. I like it.
that was rough.
Right at the end, he catches it. He's got a smile. There we are.
Oh, that's just weird. I felt
There
bad
it is.
that people were making fun of Moses for being on Eleague TV, for being bald. So I gave him the best hair in NA from Sean Gares. Something about that
Disturbing.
is very offensive to the eyes.
It's clearly wrong because the best hair in NA is Twist.
That's true.
Yeah, he's
Bubble-
really missed the ball on that. So I think that one is automatically disqualified. I go with Eleague.
Just that whole thing was just very weird. I preferred Moses bald jokes.
I'm
And
gonna go with biker.
the good news is that the community feels the same way
Here we
as
go.
well,
Let's get the
because we've had some, look at this live right now. People are creating memes. And look at the number just skyrocket. We're over at 30 memes of Moses' bald head. Guys, go on Twitter right now and make your memes be a part of
a
the
slow day.
51 people. It's
50. Oh, say what
honestly,
back.
this is some of the best
Stop,
content
stop
we've
it.
had. Look at this.
Yeah, is it? That's
And then
not
there's
bad.
that.
Those are my lips,
Oh,
baby.
I'm
Those
glad
are
I
my
chose
lips.
the nose.
Caressing
For-
so softly.
Oh boy, and and then that guy
And
just
then there's
enjoying a
him.
bag of chips. So I think that's okay. And then we have our little fan over there that's been pretty
Astralis fan,
awesome
yeah.
throughout the entire day. Yesterday was awesome. Astralis fan, gotta love that kid. But you know what that means now, folks? No more shenanigans. It's time for the countdown to game time. Thanks to Domino's. We got Faze and we have Big. And well, we want to hear from you guys at home. Let us know who you think is going to win this match. Sound off in the chat right now. All caps. Faze, all caps, Big. Make your voice heard. It's very simple. Just go to Twitch chat. Again, honest answers only. That's the only one that we would count. But guys, this is it. This is it's going to be really fun to see these two teams clash against one another. Have very unique stories coming into this tournament, and I think that if we start off with Faze first, this team such a storied past, players that have tons of experience. You would imagine that they were like the favorites in this tournament, but now like they're in a position to lose.
I think they probably were considered the favorites until people kind of saw the way that they opened up the year over at the iBuyPower event, and whatever you thought about those issues, they did lose 2 games to Ghost Gaming, which were huge upsets there. They haven't looked the best here. They've come out flat in a couple games. They've also looked good against Complexity yesterday. So a lot of it is going to depend on what kind of Faze shows up. We know they're still working on a couple things, kind of trying to change the way, become more consistent. You have Nico as the in-game leader, but certainly this is just one of those teams. If this is a good day for them, it's all over.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Nico.
Okay.
Because yesterday we chronicled the faces of Nico and sadness in their defeat. But today, all smiles for Nico. That's right. This is basically a sum up of how Faze have been doing. Just all smiles across the board, Sean.
Indeed, yeah. Nico had nothing to frown about yesterday if you watched those games, especially the cash one.
Yes.
I mean, he literally got every frag he wanted to. The pissed around, the whip 3K. I thought that was one of the most impressive spray transfers I've seen this year.
Yeah, that was, well, it's early in the year. We'll get there.
I mean, that's why I said it. I picked my words.
It is pretty,
2019
I was just
did just
making
start.
sure.
I'm glad that we weren't saying like, that's it. It's never going to get any better than that. It's like, I don't know if you know. But we're still in January. Are we? I think so.
We are. We are Golden Boy.
Shows me like how little I am here. All right. Well, another interesting point to talk about here as well, because we've been highlighting on the desk when we were watching in the games, the AUG usage has been something. We're seeing it right now at the minor. A lot of players are using the AUG.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of the North American players use it. iBuyPower had a lot of players use the AUG. Faze just do not seem to like the AUG. Why don't they like greatness?
I mean, Nico has tweeted that he thinks it's a noob gun. So, and he
That's
is the in-game
unreal.
leader, so.
That can't be. That's insane.
Holy cow, that is crazy. Because, yeah, the AUG meta is here. Whether you like it or not,
It's back.
you have to use the AUG.
I've seen a lot. Okay, so for maybe some of our newer viewers out there, why is the AUG back? What changed? What made the AUG so good?
The fact that it's equivalent in price essentially to the M4. I think it's what, $50 more
Yes,
expensive.
$50.
You have the scope. You have a better first bullet accuracy. It has a little bit more armor pen. It's just a really nasty weapon, and it's giving a lot of different angles for CT defenders to feel confidence. The fact that Faze isn't picking it up is really, really scary because you're seeing the way it can change how you play.
Yeah, you saw it yesterday with that Gobby 4K he got by the bathrooms.
Yeah.
It just feels like people get melted when you run into an AUG. They die so quick. The first 5 bullets always connect, it feels like.
Be one with the AUG.
Yes.
Don't shy away from the AUG. Embrace the scope, people. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, well,
I mean, I admire the resistance because it is a little bit of an abomination, but you know, you are playing for money at the end of the day.
I do enjoy your candor and honesty, Moses, as always. All right, well, let's go ahead and send it over to Smix, who's over at the stage with the coach of Big to hear his thoughts.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. Pleasure to meet you, Kakafu. You and the team have had some fantastic moments this weekend, especially with the addition of Xantares. That being said, yesterday you guys also suffered some pretty close losses against Cloud9. So how did that affect the team coming into today?
It didn't affect us too much, so we knew what we did wrong. I mean, we went towards the demos, we watched everything back, and we know what we did wrong, so we will do it better this time.
Well, elaborate a little bit on that, specifically on Cash, because Big was up 12-3, everything was looking good, and then it was in that second half that things started to fall apart a little bit. So what went wrong there?
I think we had very close rounds. We had like this one round where Gobby was on his CD base. He could have killed the guy easily, would have won the round. It would be easy 16-8 game. Also the Tizian one where the CT wanted to defuse and we couldn't like kill the guy. So Cash was kind of, I mean, in our heads, in another day we would just win Cash, so we just said it's fine. Overpass, they just played really good fakes. We couldn't like play aggressive as CT, so this was a mistake. But yeah, today we'll do it better.
But overall, the team is still looking so great, and Xantares is playing out of his mind. I believe he's actually the highest-rated player at this event. You're going up against Faze, and that team has definitely stepped up a lot, especially yesterday with Nico also playing out of his mind. So what are your thoughts going up against them today?
I mean, we have a pretty good record on them. We want to keep that record online against them, but they're a really good team. They're skill-wise one of the best in the world. But as you said, now we have Xantares on our side too, so I think they're also a little bit scared about him, and we try to utilize him as best as we can. The team is ready. We're just chill, and we'll see how it goes.
Sounds awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Best of luck. Golden Boy, back to you.
Thank you so much, Smix. And from the coach there of Big, well, I mean, Xantares, just, you mentioned him. We got to talk about him. We'll get into some deeper stats with him later on, but the instant impact that this guy has brought to the team has been so impressive.
Yeah, and Gob has a lot of faith in him. You can tell he's doing the P250 drops on pistol rounds to Xantares. He's letting him pick into bomb sites. He has all of his normal rolls on CT side. So he's slotted in very well right away into this big lineup.
He is just one of those players you can, he's like Hulk. You just put him into a spot on the map and you just tell him to go frag, and like he's going to do it for you. And Sean, you even noticed yesterday, there are certain aspects of these strategies that Big is running that Xantares probably doesn't know all the small peculiars and details to. And as he gets more experience in this lineup and running these tactics, he's going to get better and better when you realize which smokes you can play with a little bit more, which angles you can take a little bit more aggressively. So early returns are great, but it just gives you even more hope for the longer payoff.
Yeah, this team has just been very fun to watch, specifically because of Xantares. There have been some moments, though. I mean, Big have to acknowledge it. The Cash game did not go the way that they would have wanted. I think that big moment of missing the defuse and was it Tizian not being able to take out Zelsis. And actually, he did speak to Zelsis about that. He said, he was like, either I make the play or I go for the defuse. I didn't know. I just did what I felt like I needed to do.
I think the most shocking thing about the end to that match is we had a look in on the wrap-up from yesterday to Gob B basically telling the team, you know, calm boys, let's get over it, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't mad at all. And that's shocking because I think, you know, Jason and I in a pug situation.
Yeah, I'd be pretty furious. Be breaking a mouse and all of that. But it's nice. Kakafu referenced it during the interview, even just saying, listen, some of those instances on Cash, probably 50-50 situations where the other half, they're going to go our way if you replay them 10 times. So there's no reason in really getting super upset about it and kind of sticking on that overnight. Just kind of forget it happened and realize that in another day, if those situations play out again, they're probably the ones who would have won that map.
Well, all eyes have been on Xantares, and for due reason. For good reason, I should say.
Can you say his name?
Xantares. Wait, is Malkin Cardis?
I didn't think you were actually doing. I didn't mean to throw you on.
No. I want to challenge myself.
I'm going to say nailed it.
I think I nailed it, personally speaking. I mean, you know, come on, give me some credit, people. He leads all players, by the way, in all stats. I mean, this guy is a savage, living up to the hype. Xantares, as you had mentioned before, is real. And, I mean, yes, this is a different kind of sample size, right? It is a 4-team tournament, different kind of teams. I think people are wondering, how is this guy going to fare against the likes of an Astralis, a Team Liquid, which we will find out later on, surely. But I think early signs are showing that he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's right ahead of Nico. So Nico's right behind him right now in rating for the tournament. And both of them have played the same teams in the same number of maps, so you get a pretty good idea so far as to, you know, how he's going to fit into Big and how he's going to succeed. This matchup is going to be very telling, though.
Indeed it is. Well, let's take a look at tonight's X Factor, presented by HyperX, and it's going to be very simple. Who steps up to help Xantares here? Because he has been fragging out. He's been doing really well, but he's going to need his teammates to back him up, Moses.
Yeah, I mean, Tapson's not doing too bad, and he's the other guy you got to point to. But for me, with this team, it's always Smooya. I mentioned it yesterday. I think Smooya as the AWPer, as in the kind of style that he likes to play, I think he just brings this team a whole different aspect to their offense and their defense that is very difficult to beat. So you can tell the difference in these big squads when their AWPer is on point and when he's having a little bit of a quiet game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Smooya definitely has to come up big, especially when you go up against like AWPer like Guardian. You have to have that AWP present in the server, and he can't fall short like he did yesterday.
There's been moments over the past year where I've actually laughed to you and I've been like, Smooya is going to be the best AWPer in the server today, playing against Guardian, but it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes it is Guardian. He is a little bit still Smooya, young player, still relatively inexperienced compared in the pro scene, where he is still a little bit up and down. And Sean yesterday said he has to get out to hot starts. He's one of those younger, emotional players that needs to get a good beginning in the game to really feel comfortable. And you can see when he's kind of struggling to really zone in.
Yeah, hot start's going to be important. And now we go over to the picks and bans for the maps. And let's see what the choices are for these two teams. Big, Faze, it's about to go down.
Yeah, you know Big has to ban Mirage. It's not a map they enjoy playing. Faze loves it. Now, Faze's ban is where it gets a little bit interesting.
It's going to be tough, isn't it?
Yeah, because they've shown that they'll float the nuke ban quite a bit, and just, you know, I don't think Faze is all that strong on Overpass, but they might float it.
I was going to say, Dust 2 is the one that worried me if they'd be willing to go up against it. So
we remember that at the major.
Yeah, we do remember that very well. I think it'd be interesting to see a nuke. Wouldn't be surprised to see a train come in from Faze on this pick.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a train. Yeah, and there it is. Faze going to train. Big was very good on train at the major, but with Xantares, that's a map that's
Overpass is out.
Yeah, I imagine this is just going to go straight to Inferno, which is kind of the easy way to go. Yeah, I don't see Big doesn't strike me as the team that's going to take a lot of risks in the pick ban. And Nuke still, despite the fact that they've shown they're willing to play it at times in the past, I don't think at this stage in a tournament you want to kind of go to a third map on Nuke.
Yeah, say what you will about Smooya's confidence levels, but he always says they have a 7-map rotation, 7-map pool, yeah. And after the major, I was just like, you're a liar.
Yeah, you're straight lying.
Fun fact, by the way, this is the first time in this entire tournament that Overpass has not been played. So, sad face for me, because I love Overpass. It's like my favorite map.
It's a fun map.
Yeah, well, you know, guys, now time to get to the fun of predictions. That's right.
Yeah.
What do we got, Moses?
You know, there's honestly, I think Big looks like the better team. I think tactically they're a step above. I think Gabi's done a phenomenal job. They have a lot of good individual players that can now stack up, especially with Xantares coming in, who's also apparently the best player of this tournament. There's literally no reason for me to pick Faze, but I'm going to do it because something about them just feels right this morning. Something when I woke up was just like, Faze is going to take this.
Just gave me a million reasons why Faze won't win,
You like
but
that
then you pick Faze is going to win. All right, Sean?
So I think this version of Big is better than the one we saw at the Major. They beat Faze at the Major. They've beat them like 4 out of the last 6 times they've met. I think Big takes this best of 3.
Okay, so the desk is split.
Gold
what
boy,
do
your thoughts?
I picked Faze because I'm afraid of Yanko. The fans say Big 53%, Faze 47%. Kind of shocking considering that Faze comes from the Call of Duty community. I just thought that they'd all flood the chat and just vote for Faze, but it seems like
Times have changed.
Times have changed. Clearly, I'm in a completely different game here. All right, well. You've heard from us, you've heard from the chat, but now it's time to hear from your casters. Let's go over to the Boost Mobile caster desk with Bardolph and a guy with impeccable taste, DDK.
Oh, wow. Yesterday, I'm a real estate salesman. Now I'm
You're the flowery brethren of Golden Boy over there.
You know, but you know why he does this? It's really just a compliment for himself because he's flowered up today as well.
Absolutely.
If you notice his shirt.
Thinly veiled.
It's always the way, isn't it? But yes, this is going to be an incredible matchup. I think Big have proven that they are very scary. Faze as well. Yesterday, you know, just being able to actually run through their game, getting into their flow state, seeing Nico be so dominant, that just makes this like perfect. Today it looks like a perfect day, James. I want to see incredible stuff from all these players. They have so much to offer us.
I always find it difficult to pick against Faze, even despite form, just because of the sheer skill on their team. However, I have gone for Big because I think it was really stimulating to watch Godby and how his team were reacting to everything that was going on, despite how maybe all the performances weren't where they needed to be. But here we are. Big will be starting on the T side of Cash, the first map of this best-of-3 series. Tizian and Godby with the grenades for the T side. And there's a big focus towards A early on, where I think we're going to have a peek in A main from Faze. Dren's holding a flashbang. It's about to be deployed, and there are 2 players here having a look, but Tizian still gets a kill, and will Olafmuch get traded? Of course he will. Too many people there.
Too many man, and yeah, still trying to get through those choke points, looking rather difficult at this point. Even though they have the man advantage, they have so much time, they don't actually have to commit. We have Faze having rotated all the way to A, and there's 3 players ready to respond there. Big can't just do that typical thing which they're doing right now, where you cut the noise, and then eventually one of those CTs has to drift away. They've got to start getting information. What if there's a rotation? You want to know about that so you can set up, but Tizian's here to harass. And still, are Faze sure? Is it just a fake?
Godby jumping around, showing presence. Taps him with that P250. Extra range, getting a nice headshot onto Guardian. Dren going for the taps. He's got his teammate on short range, looking towards the squeaky door. And now come the numbers. Now they start to try to swarm the site, get through the choke point. Frags from inside it. And now it's a 1 versus 4. And they know Dren's on the site, so they're choosing to rotate away. Taps and keeps him in situ. And there is the round for Big. We've seen a few slower pistol rounds, more drawn out. And of course, I wonder if, let's say 6 months from now, Xantares will have his own branded hand towels for mice, considering how prevalent it is on the cameras on his desk.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely something to that, and it's actually made me think more about mouse Excel again. It's been a long time. I used it for like 2 years. It takes a long time to get used to it, actually. You can't just switch to it. It has a learning curve. But enough about that. We do have Faze now in the second round going for the full save. And typically, we've been seeing Faze actually force buying in this situation more so than a lot of teams have. I know that Sean has mentioned that it, for him just makes a lot of sense because you have those kind of awkward buys on that 3rd round if you go for full save. Here we don't quite have enough money for everything, not quite all the utility, maybe not an AWP, and Faze is so strong with all the pistols that it just makes a lot of sense for them to have that plus a bunch of utility and Elmo. Ooh, Tapsing getting caught there, able to escape however.
So many targets. He doesn't need to take those fights because there are so many bullets flying his way that there's a potential for that AK to be lost. Tizian's coming in for support. There is a player to his deep left, spots him. Rain is the last man. Will be taken out by the Mac 10s of Godby. Godby always good on the anti-eco rounds and anti-force buy rounds with his SMGs and occasional auto shotguns on the CT side. Has been commonplace on Overpass, but of course we won't be seeing that one on this series. 2-0, and FaZe Clan are pulling out 5 M4A4s. So the third round bye from a CT side, I think Cash is one of those maps where the shortcomings are quite telling because it's hard to have map control when you don't have all the utility in the world. They have, of course, the smoke grenades, so they can smoke them off initially, but the incendiary grenades are quite lacking, as you can see. They don't have a single one. So if they're trying to stop the T's from advancing when they try to execute into a site, that's going to be more difficult now.
And look here, we have a pop flash set up here for the CTs with the M4s. Really nice aggression to take. Also, he's going to need a reload as well, and he's going to get taken down by Nico. Really working out very well. In fact, the pop flash not even necessary due to Smee harassing there. Unfortunate for him, but look at the reaction from Big. Immediately they see the push there. They know that the mid presence has to be weak. They push him for free. Now they have middle. So they've lost a player, but they've gained some positioning. So that's actually a good result overall for Big.
Yeah, this kind of awareness and commanding from God B is why I've picked them for this series. See if it takes him through. Rain with a very difficult angle. Surely there's no way Xantares finds a frag here if he continues to push on.
Another bait setup from Big. We'll go into that in a moment as we see now that Big have gotten connector. Obviously, Xantares knows there must be someone around this position. The timing is so important. Able to escape the angle just in time as Rain starts to creep up. Xantares won't realize he's so close. He just checked that. Rain finding the perfect timing. And now it gets worse. 3 versus 5 for Big. They've got to make a play now. Tapson needs this kill, but Rain doesn't have to take the fight.
That's 2 players spotted for Faze Clan. No one player is in Squeaky Door. That's going to be a problem that Olofmeister can deal with. He's got nice position and now it makes it even harder. 4 versus 2, make it 3 versus 1. Very quickly, Tizian doesn't have the range with the Mac 10 and Faze Clan will hold with 3 players. Maybe they can find some upgrades towards the end. Again, started difficult for them, but with the first frag and then the second one, quickly got much better.
So something that's interesting to note, and I'm not sure if this is something that will be talked about in the death later, we're seeing this tendency from Big where they decide to go for this highway smoke when they take mid, and they use it as a setup to try to bait a peek from the CTs in connector to punish. We saw them trying to do that there, and they had the pop flash play into connector as well. And this is something that teams can start to play against them, but Big now can also start using that to fake as well, fake mid presence when in fact maybe they will explode elsewhere. So they can use that highway smoke to now create mind games now because people have learned that tendency and that setup of their CT side.
Olofmeister has been pop flashed through into A main, so that's a lot of information. They can choose to leave him there if they want to. And rotate an extra player towards the B bomb site. Big creeping towards B. This smoke can have 1 person behind it, can have 5 people behind it. On this occasion, it is the latter. Still a 2-1-2 set up for Faze Clan as Nico starts to move towards mid. There's a smoke for the other side of the fence. Now the pop flashes come through, so would isolate the player if he was round the back boxes, but Guardian and Adren will hold for now. Down to the pistol is Adren. Nice headshot from him. This is great. Gets an upgrade as well. And there's not a single frag. Finally, there's 1 for Smee, but surely it's too little too late. Switches out to an AK-47. We've got Olofmeister looking for a potential rotation. The rest can wait on the site. They have the bomb. 40 seconds for Smee to try and find something. Then it's time to get some frags. He has some position trying to avoid getting traded, but Rain won't need no trade. 4 players survive for Faze. Now they can start to build their money.
Great defense here, and as you say, you don't know necessarily how many players are behind that smoke, but one of the issues is that Faze had mid control. They had 2 players sitting in mid, just seeing nothing. No presence there. No presence towards A. There was just nothing. And so I think, Faze were very ready for an explosion on one of the bomb sites. And so they seem to have a good read of that situation. Big will have to make it a little bit more difficult in the future rounds for Faze.
That execute into B, I believe, is an old French strategy where you smoke off the checkers area. So if there is a CT there, then they're isolated, take the site, take checkers afterwards. But seems that Faze were ready for the pop flashes. So that was the deciding factor. Now we've got the P250s and Glocks for Big. Again, with Faze just starting to make some cash, Big will want to force them to use as many grenades as possible. Incendiaries are more expensive than Molotovs. Extra $200 for the CT side. That does add up. So some presence shown towards A. Tizian will continue to be a nuisance around the squeaky door. And Big will head elsewhere.
Very quiet again here as Faze remain calm. No no need to overextend. They know they're against pistols. Why risk it? Nice catch, Meister, finding himself a couple quick kills. The support from Rain and Nico comes in, and that will finish off the round. So easy pickup for Faze. They lose 0 players, and also they actually maintain almost all of their utility as well. So very little economic damage from Big in that round.
3-2, FaZe Clan in the lead. Rain and Guardian and Nico with AK-47. So I'm sure there'll be an opportunist pickup of an AWP later on. No snipers on either side for now. Got Tizian with the Gilo and 4 AKs. So let's see what Big have in mind on this occasion. 2-2-1 set up to start with FaZe Clan. Rain under the boost, Adrenaline moving close to the smoke as well. Guardian left solitary on B. It seems they've got some boosts in mind. You saw the diagonal spray through the smoke from the T's, trying to deter this movement. Sometimes it shoots a player in the head. And FaZe accidentally gave away a sound cue while they were trying to boost. So they won't take the risk, just in case someone is on the other side.
We know Tizian loves to harass the squeaky door. It's something that he just tends to do every single round if he can.
Big fan of doors, Tizian. Send him pictures of doors on Twitter.
And that smoke as well doesn't really give up too much information towards FaZe. The thing is, though, is that FaZe have middle still. One of the reasons why you need to clear middle is so that the CTs don't quite understand exactly which way you're going. Because right now, because there's no mid presence from the Ts and no threat there, and because the CTs are also able to kind of peek into B main, they don't really feel anything. The only presence is on A main. So right now, FaZe very prepared for an A attack. Big still harassing, of course, that more utility. And the late mid take from 2 players comes in, but FaZe are all over it. They've defended so well.
Defensively strong. Rain flanking as there are 2 players remaining for Big. See if he's activated later. Pop flashes, counter flashes on a sort of an unusual angle. And that would be both. Oh no, Adren comes in with a HE at the end. And it's a clean round for FaZe. No one lost. Again, even 1 kill for Big is very expensive for FaZe Clan. 0 kills is fantastic for FaZe. 2-round lead, and Big are on $3,000. So this is looking like an eco.
I think I understand what Big are trying to do there. The presence they had towards A, they're expecting that later in the round because of how they have 2 players. You know, they're throwing smokes, they're spamming door. They're expecting that those 2 players that go into mid at a later timing, that they'll be in like a 2v1 or something. The CT setup they'll be forced to have at least 2 players on A, which means worst case 2-1-2 from the CTs. But in reality, FaZe didn't buy it. They just said, you know what, we're just going to keep 2 players deep in mid, and if you go for that A attack, we're going to get a flank in. So it really backfired in them not having more presence in mid earlier in the round.
Godby boosting some players. He has Godby that is a smoke and a flash, which may be used to executing towards the A site later, I would imagine. Tabson holding an angle which you'd often see Scream holding as well. I played against Scream on Cash once. It was very brutal. He's a hard man to shoot. So they've got possession of mid. Now they could try to go for a split of the A side. They've got that smoke up, and that's always a question mark. Is somebody for the CTs? Is somebody close behind? Oh! Xantares running for a weapon, collecting one of his own team's weapons, an AK. Now there are serious issues because Guardian has to start to wonder about behind him. Is he going to get flanked towards B? Olaf Meissen are having to go to car, which is going to isolate Nico. He's having to get aggressive. So this has become awkward. Of course, they are better equipped, but they could get outmaneuvered by the numbers of Big.
Yeah, you're right. Things start to get a bit weird. And the jumping is a boost. There it is, though, Tizian with a very important response. Finds the headshot onto Nico. Now the A defense is gone. And everybody regroup here from Big to get into that site. Nice headshot comes in from Xantares with that AK-47 that he just picked up. And now it's a 4 versus 2. The FaZe have money, but there's another headshot. Xantares taking all the heads. Tizian will find the last player. Deagle comes out, but Guardian defends. But now he's not really liking this situation. Despite how much money they have, he's looking to just back away.
A 3 versus 1, even if he assumes no one has Kevlar. Xantares a 3K, he's got full health and no armor. That's brilliant. That just tells you what he's brought to that team. But of course, they can set up for an all but guaranteed trade frag situation. So Guardian is doomed in most scenarios. They do have money in the bank phase, and now he can pull out the AWP, drop the AK to pretty much anyone else. Savage players all over Faze. He will hold for now. What a round from Xantares. That first shot, I have to see it again in Canada. That was unbelievable. Pop flash from his teammate. Rain, I think Rain was blind as well. What a great angle. Taps, spinning around. He's a sentry. He's just looking for anything, any target. 360s.
Yep. And I love, you have to appreciate just very quickly that when he got that kill and picked up the AK, he didn't just try to go for a flank. He played with his team and they tried to keep the numbers advantage. I mean, a lot of players would just actually push the flank there in some regard. But Xantares knew better than that. He's not just an aim machine, he is more.
Got a boost in mid happening. Attempt number 2. Rain has been elevated in that position. Meanwhile, there's potential action for Nico. But this one from Rain, he sees 3 players. There's 2 gone. Did he see the guy going into main? I'm not sure if he did because he's looking away now. Oh no, it's on my X-ray actually. It is in Squeaky Door. And Olaf Meister will take care of that. Okay, well all of a sudden, again, Big have 2 players remaining. A familiar story in this game of Cash so far. And they've had no answer to any of these violent frags from Faze.
That's
what a
pretty
great answer.
Yeah, that's tilting, isn't it? It's so tilting. Gopi will return 1 frag, but in that 2v5, they're in a spot where there actually would have been quite a strong argument to save with the AK and the AWP, as they would have been able to have a full buy in the next round with that. But thank God they at least have some money because they won a round in which they were on pistols and didn't invest a huge amount. But this is still an awful look for Big at the moment. It does feel like they're stuck in the mud, like really struggling to find a way forwards.
Xantares with an AK, Gobi with an AK as well. The rest on pistols. See what they can do this time. Not even starting with a Deagle Xantares. Maybe a scarier proposition for FaZe Clan, who don't know what the deal is just yet, but the utility being used here will be a clue. Of course, a force buy is unsurprising in a situation when you've just been reset after winning 1 round. So it looks like all of smoke around the A side. I didn't see how many were thrown. We've got 2 players around A so far. Another smoke on that short position, the one they usually throw, but this time no one's in mid. Nico has a door open again. We've seen him do nasty things from here already in this tournament. Moving around the forklift, he has a teammate on his 6, but potential flank here, Tizian. Ooh, Captain 10 HP won't last very long. Action all around the A site. Will be expensive for FaZe Clan, but they survive the force buy from Big.
Yeah, Smia really struggling to get that momentum going so far. And one of the things that has been troubling, I think, and a difference between Smia and Xantares in some of the matches is that Xantares will find a way to impress himself upon the match, force the issue, whereas Smia needs to be set up more with that AWP. And sometimes that just isn't seemingly the case. And so hopefully they can get things rolling a little bit later into this, after the pistols, of course, and we can start to see Smia coming out. But right now, the approach from Big, it really feels like FaZe are reading their pace very well. And that's an enormous problem because FaZe just have so much individual skill. We see that Nico just wants to take those open fights and he'll win most of them. So Big need to be able to take away more map control, create more questions for FaZe. But right now, James, FaZe look incredibly comfortable.
While the score looks close now, I think the implications are a lot worse for Big at present. And FaZe have a great opportunity to aim for, say, a 10-4 scoreline, something along those lines. Always good to have short-term goals in a map of Counter-Strike. So after 2 kills, Rain has been picked off. But Olaf Meister just, well, never mind. He was there. He's not there anymore. Now there can be suggestions of a split towards B, but Adren is underneath the vent. Gobi gets blown up. The bomb hasn't been seen, I do not believe. And Smear's got an AWP. So if there was ever a time for him to try and get into this game, I think it's now. With only 3 players left, Adren is starting to force the action and push through B to find out what's going on. And it seems Guardian will check for a flank, but stay on B just in case, while Big are in mid.
This is a huge problem. What a play from Adren here. They're not going to be checking for this. That is it, Adren. Such a great move to go for the flank, go for the information for the team, and just crush the chances for Big. That's quite sad for them. But they have the buy back in once more, and they'll have pretty much everything they want. They will be lacking in AWP. We'll have to see what the change of approach is. I really do think that making more of an impression on the map control could be a good start for them. We'll see exactly how they anticipate things. We haven't seen too many very fast contact plays from them either, though, so perhaps that is something that can be thrown into the mix. But we'll see some variation of a default here. Instead of having Tizian harassing the door, he's helping towards middle at the moment. And we have 2 players here for Big towards that B main area. Olofmeister going for a deeper peek, trying to catch anybody setting up those default nades to take over checkers. Won't catch anybody, though. And Big will use the timing of those cross smokes on B to quickly move towards A with everyone, and hopefully for them try to set up an attack before Faze realize what's going on.
It will be a long rotation if they time it right, because there is a boost on B looking into the sunroom. So if they're trying to focus Faze Clan towards B, they've done that. But now the Olofmeister is quickly starting to rotate over, and they're still stuck in a choke point. Counter-tactic will be a problem as well. Nico trying to use the door, not quite working out for him. Rain in front of the smoke. That smoke hasn't gone deep enough, and they've used it against them. Frag. They tried to elevate, that smoke not helping out on the execute, and they just haven't even made it onto the bomb site, really. Finally, Godby is there, 1 versus 3, and that won't work out for them. I don't know if the smoke for the cross was blocked by a player or why it was so shallow, but Rain was able to play around that, and then we had CTs on the site who were able to stop players jumping over the boxes of the big execute. Now we see the stats of who's lighting up the scoreboard at the moment. Rain, 14 kills, far ahead of his teammates and the opponent. Make it 16 with that update, thank you very much.
Ouch. Looking really bad for Big right now. No one can quite really get things going, and you can see Rain just playing around that smoke, as you say. It's too shallow, a missed smoke, and it really cost them here. Rain able to just dance around the bomb site, and they had a 2 versus 5, James. They set it up really nicely. If you can't win a bomb site when you're in a situation like that, that's a huge issue. You've set everything up. All you have to do is trade into the site and set up the post plant. And again, that feels really bad, because it's different from losing around because you feel outplayed. You feel like in that spot you should be winning that.
That smoke was almost in no man's land, but it was a great response from Rain to recognize an opportunity and take it. Essentially stop Big from even making it onto the A bomb site, leaving only 1 player to get taken care of after he went down. And once again, a familiar story. Big are back on the pistols. Every other round, they've got a bunch of deagles. Might get 1 or 2 kills, but Faze are the one winning the rounds. 4 in a row, 8 from 9 rounds for Faze Clan. Outside of the pistol, it's basically 8-1 to Faze, to give you an idea of the success right now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They are looking really, really good so far today, but it doesn't really feel like they've been stretched either. It feels like Faze are just... Again, the word I would choose is comfortable. They're very comfortable. Nothing really is catching them off guard. They're not really having to struggle for any of these bomb sites. We're not seeing any awkward retakes or clutches. Olofmeister here, nice flick from him as they finish off the pistols.
Practice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a warm-up for sure.
Yeah, they are in the driving seat and they've got the fancy gloves on. 9-3 for Faze. Now Big, maximum loss bonus, have Smee on the AWP, but again, a question is how they're able to get him into a fragging position. Nice flicks from Olofmeister, he's warming up during the game. He will continue with the, well, 1 of 2 AWPs. Guardian will have 1 as well. Double ops on Cash, often fun. Guardian towards B once more, where 3 big players are headed. A tag, but no frag. Guardian's on 10 HP, and that's still a very dangerous Guardian.
And he is actually, they can finish him off with an HE if they throw it through the glass. You can land HEs onto the bomb site. So that is an option for Big to attempt. But actually, no, they don't have any HEs in this round, so never mind. Never mind. Yeah, that's definitely heartbreaking there for Smee, who did leg him. But look at Nico, he's gone for that door push. Oh, I don't think that he meant to shoot the gun there. He's given up the position, and now they know he's there. Okay, that definitely was a mistake from...
I just looked at his face. He is extremely frustrated with that, so I don't think that was deliberate on his part. But here we are. Guardian has picked off Smee, and now Guardian's starting to rotate his AWP. Olofmeister has taken the place of his teammate in that squeaky door position. And Godby's... Oh, he could see Godby soon, who's just gone around the corner with the bomb and starting to fall back to maybe throw a grenade of some description. Olofmeister saying hello, was considering going back to the well, but he will fall back in case there are loads of people in main, perhaps. Xantares and Tabson in the mid position. They could go for a vent play. 38 seconds. It isn't quite clear what Big wants to do.
And they have mids. Faze have, there was a moment where Faze had 0 people on the bomb side when all of us was pushing, but now they have 3 around A. So 25 seconds to go, and they're just convinced that it has to be B because the time is so low and there's no presence towards B. But here's the flank. There's TTs all over the place, ready to go for the flank. More T's going in through middle. They can go to A now.
Oh my
That
God.
is ridiculous. They've read this perfectly. Tizian always going to be careful about this flank, but he manages to get around the white box just in the nick of time. And finally, we're going to see a retake, a post plant for Big.
What a rotation. That's like a double rotation in a matter of 30 seconds. The read on the game is absolutely crazy, and also it's almost a role reversal. Olofmeister, Squeaky Door, Rain and Main. These are T positions. The Dread picking up from the B bomb site. 3 on 4. How invested do they want to get to this? Olofmeister and Rain are pretty close, but Adren's so far away. It's basically a 2 versus 3. Tabson picked off towards the car position, I think. The rest of Big on the side themselves. What can really go for? Just damage at this point. Tizzy starting to creep a double peak, I think. And that's the round for Big. That was a crazy round.
Yeah, it's one of those rounds where this is an awesome round to win, but again, you're thinking to yourself, it's just so peculiar. We can't oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, Goffy just dancing around there, not really interested in taking the fight. Very strange, but it's a peculiar round because, as you mentioned, all these strange rotations. We had all these interesting pushes, which created opportunities for Big, and then they kind of played around it. Both teams were reading the map and going for these big mid-round rotations. That's not a consistent approach to winning T rounds. You know, Big are kind of fortunate to actually have the 4 rounds that they do at this point, and I like that we see a timeout here. It's actually a tactical from Faze Clan, but this is very useful for Big as well because they do need to figure out exactly what they need to do for their best chances here.
So we've got Yanko talking to the troops about utility and other things during this timeout from Faze Clan. Saying, see, he's given his team a goal. Let's reset them here and make it 11-4. Again, short-term goals very important in any sporting activity, I think.
Yeah. I think you're talking about some A-main aggression, James.
Well, let's see if you are true, Dan, or if you're correct, or if you're misleading the audience. 2 rounds remain in this half. Faze have a goodbye thanks to all those rounds they won. And we'll soon see what they have in mind. Both teams have been very active. Those rotations were awesome to watch from Big, but we've seen plenty of pushes through A and B late on from Faze Clan as well. Everybody hungry for information. Again, we start with 3 towards B from Big. Smir holding the initial angles, looking for some aggression. The angle to his right, he has a superior distance from. So if there was a push from the CTs, he's almost certain to get the frag. And there's one from Olofmeister. Jumping around too much, maybe. So normally it's Guardian on B. What does it mean if Olof is on B?
Indeed, it's very powerful to have a player that can move around the map in that way. We have mid control here for Big. This is a great start for them. Loads of time, 5v4. You have mid control. You know that the CTs are likely 2-2 on their setup. And considering how big of a threat in T-Con in the past, you can also likely assume that they would have somebody watching T-Con. All this pressure on A-bomb side is starting to come in. Looking for the moment to go in Xantares. Defense against Rain. Nico needs a big play here. Looking to play around the smoke. There's the drop they hear him. The spray comes in. Got B. Great 180 from him. Tapson as well with the headshot onto Guardian. And Faze have been largely eliminated. Just Adren in the 1 versus 3.
Still has a fair amount of health. Faze can buy in the next round regardless, so Adren has to go for this unless he feels like he has to save the AWP. But he's got 6,600, so he could drop it in the next round. I think they realize, okay, let's go for it. But a fair amount of time has passed already. So it may be about just trying to take some weapons away. Or going for a ninja, but I think he's even too far away for that. Oh, the bomb is around the corner. If he could make it there, he can't hold it. No one's close enough. Oh, he could have put it a bit more further away. I think Gobby's going to get there in time. Yeah.
Ooh, that was close.
It was close.
That was very close. I actually didn't think he'd make it in time. Oh, and we'd have like another Tizian moment. That was so close.
A wry smile. A nice try in the chat.
There we go. Smear's going to feel good about that one after being denied a couple times previous. Oh, it was so close.
You don't see so many teams cause so much havoc with the smoke up highway as much as Big do and the threat of taking Z keeping Faze very uncomfortable. Those flashbangs go down the middle, over the warehouse, not over the glass, so the T's can run and peek with it. Gobby asking questions with the AK. Nice rapid from him. Xantares has been taken out early. Lots of exchange in the mid position. Gobby finally gets his kill through the smoke, and all of a sudden it's a 3 versus 4.
Gobby knows he's got to do something in mid here. Taking a fight, trying to get that 3 versus 3 is really critical. Olofmeister is quite weak, but he is on an AWP. Forward is Nico. Doesn't get the first bullet off there. It's Tizian, but he'll still win the fight regardless. And that is a huge issue for Big. At least 2 players are very weak for Faze, and at least they've taken 1 player out, which does create holes. It's a very different story to a 3 versus 5, for example. There is a way in. You can see Smooya now. He's moved into checkers, but he's unscoped. If he scopes, they're going to hear him. Wow. Well, Nico will hear that tag on Gobby.
Only 14 damage. What kind of grenade is that? How is that possible?
It's a chance, James.
Smooya's moved into the B-bomb site. He's been heard, he's been spotted, tagged. That's a fair chunk of tagging. Gobby can re-smoke this. And Smooya can hold the upper area. There goes the smoke. 27 seconds. Oh, the bomb's been dropped. They've taken too long. He's taken Rain out, but Nico must be eliminated. Smooya, he's got 1 shot. He has to try and avoid getting traded. Creeping up, Nico realizes what's happening, runs out, and there's 10 rounds for Faze, 5 rounds for Big.
Indeed, not quite the 11-4 Yanku was going for, but it is a decisive half for Faze, and they looked so strong. It feels as though it could have been a lot worse for Big. So they have enough rounds to get things going on this second half, but they need to wake up here, because otherwise it's going to get very bad very quickly, because it already does feel like Faze are feeling themselves so far this tournament here today.
Yeah, so it was a strong half for Faze Clan, and again, outside of the pistol, 3 rounds for Big, really. Players readying up. Some last words from Yanko. Now let's see if they can be a change of fortune. Xantares and Smooya, not a great half really, is it? 7 kills and 4 kills. We've had a great flash in 1 round for Xantares, but he got 3 kills, and after that, everybody was quiet, really.
Yeah, I think the fundamentals from Faze have been really good, and some of those tendencies of Big, I think, have been sort of identified, and Faze have calmly understand what what these tendencies mean and how to react. And they're just, when things came down to attacking a bomb site, it just always seemed so difficult for Big, even if they had advantages. We saw that 5 versus 2, for example, Rain and Guardian just easily dealing with it. Maybe a bot smoke has something to do with it, but that is in the past. Now Big, they've got 5 rounds. They look to the future. They look to get that pistol, and they look to try to go for an equalizer. 5 rounds is required to do that. It's not too tall of an order. We'll see if they can do it. They've got a lot of utility on the CT side. You don't often see that. 4 flashbangs and a smoke and a kit.
Looks like retake strats to me, and considering they've only got 1 player in the B bomb site, that might explain why. Smooya in B alone. Faze Clan spreading out, looking for any pushes really, just holding passively. Tabs in with the 1 taps again. There's a flash for him, sees nobody else in A. So now Big have control of A. What are Faze Clan going to do? I think Tabson picked up a smoke from a T player as well, which is a nice bonus, especially if they have to retake towards B. They can entirely smoke off checkers in the entrance to B, if need be.
Yeah, he's dropped it at the end of A main. There's lots of play still here for Tizian, looking for another headshot for the Big side. And Faze Clan still have a lot of decisions to make. They can go anywhere they want, and that's not good. Tizian in that 1v1 gives it up. Now Faze will feel much more comfortable, still with the smoke and flashbang on Adren. Looking to go towards middle. They already have Nico deep by white box. And Faze, they can still go back to B. Big have to be so careful.
They've got no lurker towards A now, but they are close to the highway position. But with Adren outside B, I feel like it's much better for them to try and split the B bomb site. Now, Adren has brought Gobby and Smooya towards B bomb site, so maybe they're playing off rotation. Either way, they'll take out Tabson. Then Xantares is lurking around this A site, but he's so low and now he's gone. Open for business is the A bomb site. Gobby already towards the car position. Olofmeister is close, and he's got a bullet advantage with 18 more in the Glock. Some spam from him as he backs off around the corner. And this is going to be rough for Big. They're going to walk into a crossfire.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to pull this one off. especially considering that Smuya's already on 14 HP. He can't take any damage. Oh, that's a stunning shot, though. Godby will go down. Maybe if Godby had picked up that kill, Smuya could have helped him out. But Smuya's trying to keep his Kevlar intact at this point. And Rain's got quite an annoying angle. Nice, though. Smuya picks up another one. Defensively, he can't win the round, but he can sure try to survive. And one more. Smuya looking for 4 kills now. Nico, is he going to chase this one? Does Smuya have enough health? He should be, yeah, should be able to survive the bomb. There's Nico, and he finishes him off, but Smuya got some extra bank for the 3 kills that he picked up there. Extra $900.
Pretty good going. Almost saved perfect armor, but then took 6 damage eventually.
He's the AWPer too, so that's going to pay off later on.
Yeah, it helps for sure. You can see it looks like he's feeling the pressure. He needs to step up. We asked about who needed to step up. You see Godby's on 11 kills, but Smuya stepped off the ladder for now. I mean, Xantares, rather. But he was very good on the CT side of Cash when we saw it previously, and maybe that's going to happen now. But losing the pistol certainly doesn't help, shortens the odds.
This is just great from Faze. Just use those MAC-10s, barrel into that B-bomb site. Your nades, you can just... There's no position that a CT can stand in with those pistols. And as soon as you get the bomb down, it's basically over at that point, if you have enough players left alive. So here it goes, flashbangs in. Actually, some good damage done by these pistols. Oh my goodness. But they'll all deal with it pretty well, these MAC-10s reigning true with the AKs. And that's the bomb site. So easy cleanup. And so we can expect that AWP, I'm sure, from Smuya in the following rounds. Ooh, you don't often see people going for that, but it is always a fun round boost.
Yeah, it's a rare one. It's bonus money for Guardian. He can back off now since he's low. There's some more money for Meister. Everybody alive for Faze Clan. 12 to 5, and the game is probably going to start now.
Probably going.
As far as big are concerned.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, the weapons are coming out. Godby on a French gun, Tabson on the AUG, Smuya, AWP, no Kevlar. Again, they have that limited utility because of the 3rd round buy. But what choice do you have, really, when it's 5 to 12?
Yeah.
Meister wanted another flash? No? He threw his HE, but he's leaving with spawn with 3 grenades. So I guess he really doesn't like HEs.
And this is really far from Faze, straight into that A-bomb. So they've got the MAC-10s, they want to use them, they want to get that positioning quickly, but so far so good. Tabson slows them down, gets a double with that AUG of his, and the M4 range true for Xantares. Good for 1, that's all he needed. They've stopped the push. Still a chance though, Nico will take damage as he gets the kill onto Tabson. Now it's the quest to make this as expensive as possible. And here comes Olofmeister sneaking up on Godby. There's the reload at the worst possible time. And now there's a chance. Nico and Olofmeister ready for the 2v2. Oh, that's big.
6 cents from Nico. Smuya now puts it into 1v1. He doesn't have a HE. He has a flashbang though. Does he go pistol? Does he go AWP? He knows Nico is around default somewhere. The post-plant smoke is already up. He's scoped in so he can continue to creep, and Nico's not going to expect this, but the scope is obscuring his vision. Okay, Smuya on the corner now. Nico by the box. Out he comes. There's the flick. Finally, there's a big impact frag from Smuya. Some nice confidence boosting for him as Big make it to 6 rounds.
Faze made it expensive as hell, though. And that is really important to see Smuya in those clutch situations. He's one of those players where I watch him, and I feel like if we see some good stuff from Smuya in a half already, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to nail this. He can do anything. But then I also feel the opposite sometimes, where if he's having a bad game, I feel like the pressure starts to really eat away at him. But this was fantastic, and it's going to do great things for his confidence moving forwards. You can see Nico not happy with that one, but they did so much damage, James, and that was a bonus round for them.
You can see Janko on top of Nico, stopping the frustration. It's fine, it's 1 round. Let's focus on the next one. Keeping his cool. When doesn't Nico perform though, or otherwise? They still have double the score, and again, if you're Janko, you've got to tell your teammates, this is an opportunity to reset them, to break them. It's good that we lost that round. Still an Olofmeister running out of an SSG, so now they can really have an impact. This lineup is normally where you'd throw a smoke, you'd aim at the top of the arrow, smoke off the quad position, which would stop people from holding angles. Tabson Tapson with an off-angle Guardian, not ready for that one. Rare miss from him. Zantares is a very unusual angle and allows Tapson to make that double smoke to the cross. There the spray from Zantares, not hitting the mark, but they have control of the site for now.
Yeah, the AUG is so consistent at those distances with the scope and how easy it is to control the recoil, and Smuya finds one through the smoke as well. The difficulties compound for Faze as Adrenaline has to make a play, goes through the door. Which way does he look? Well, that's going to work out. Finds himself two. Olofmeister with one as well. All of a sudden, 3 players dropping immediately for Big. And Olofmeister has 40 seconds to clutch this, and he seems to have a sense for a flank. But does he realize how deep that flank goes? Looks like he won't. Tizian with a very good position. Smart stuff from him, and that's Big picking up the round, but that shouldn't have been quite as expensive as that.
Yeah, the good thing is that Faze can't particularly buy, so it may give a small few bubbles of breathing space for Big to try and recoup some of these losses. I think the whole Big team's feeling the pressure at the moment. 5-round deficit. This is a very important round for them. Tapson will have the AWP, and Smear's on the SMG. So, see how this works out. Now, you could argue, why doesn't Smear go to where Tapson's going? But then you've got 2 people not playing in their roles, positionally. So if they're expectant of a push towards B, the SMG would be better for a clean-up. Smear in a position where Gobby can throw a pop flash for him later on. Although Gobby doesn't have any flashes, actually, so he can't. Never mind. Faze, ooh, that's meaty. Guardian and Rain taking colossal damage from a HE towards the boost position. That's not nice.
Got to give that respect to Faze with those pistols. I have to say, Faze's discipline when they were on the CT side, playing it as Big when they were on rounds like this, was very good and very impressive indeed. Didn't give away anything almost, except that 1 round. Zantares went off. Tapson looking for all, just about missed it. Got to be careful. The pre-aim was there for Rain, but he can't pick up the kill. It's Nico to do so on Tizian as he goes wide on Connector. But they can't quite get the gun. It's covered. But there looks like potential. There's potential in this round because it's also a Dren in Squeaky who's ready to burst out if the mid players can pull that rotation and attention away from the A-bomb site.
Oh, the bomb's been lost towards B now. Smear with the SMG, perfectly positioned for this. So I think the most dangerous part of this round has ceased, as far as Faze are concerned. There's a frag for Adren. He's got 10 seconds to try and do something, or maybe hold on to this. AWP to be collected. You can spray through that panel on the right-hand side through the fence. Some people used to save there a very long time ago, but you can spray them down very easily. And there we are, 8-12.
It's so crazy that in a round like that, where Faze have almost nothing to work with, they actually found so many small opportunities, and there was actually a bunch of different ways that they could maybe win that round. It's just kind of crazy. It's always a struggle, it seems. Very difficult game so far for Big, but this is the first proper fight we're going to see from them. Smuya and Tapson on those AWPs. Full utility, full kits, everything that they could possibly want. This is where it really starts, if it's going to start at all. Can they find that flow and that momentum?
Adren towards Squeaky. Tapson boosted up. Does he double scope in? He sees an elbow. You can. Oh! I thought Guardian almost went too wide there. Very nice shot from Tapson. Nico will collect the AWP. Tapson has repositioned outside of main. Smear's been left alone with the A-bomb site. He has an AWP as well. Olofmeister waiting for a push. Faze have a focus towards A, clearing things slowly but surely. No one by the lockers.
I love that Big have quite a heavy presence in mid right now, because usually when a T side goes down to 4 players and there's 5 CTs and there's a minute left, they go for a mid take, because CTs typically will reinforce bomb sites and usually leave mid open. But look at this presence. They're ready for a big fight on mid. Big. That's beautiful. Nico taking so much damage. The follow-up grenade from Zantares is on point. That's great stuff from Big. They read the map perfectly here.
You have to respect that. That's quite a combo. Minimal risk, maximum reward. 40 seconds, 3 versus 5 for Faze Clan. Looking to boost once again. What is the play from Faze? What is Olofmeister's role in this, in that boosted position? Small amount of flashbangs. Tapsin won't get flashed. Easy frag for him, and his teammate's just hiding in the corner, but the Molotov will force him through. They surely won't expect him here. Running onto the side to try and plant the bomb. This is all but guaranteed. Oh, he's missed a shot at Xantares. Trent, is there a chance for him? 10 seconds, and this bomb can go down. How are they turning this around?
Oh, God, Smooya, he's got to do it again here, but it's even more difficult. They had everything here, so much money invested, and Smooya has to be perfect, and they could pop out at any moment from any position. Nate comes out, the double peak timing is just too damn strong. Oh, how do they give that one up? Xantares, of all people, he just whiffed a few bullets. That should have been guaranteed. You hold the off angle, and you make it work, but you can't make those mistakes against Faze today, it seems.
They played the bait setup where Xantares was hiding the entire time, only the AWP was showing. Molotov forced him out. He had to get that kill. A rare miss from him, and that might cost Big everything in this half because their money's been broken. They're on $2,000 to $3,000, and Faze are on 13 rounds.
And it's really difficult as well because when you don't have any economic security as a CT side, your AWPers can be so incredible, but the issue is that they have to take these huge risks. So you want to have a big bank before you start sending Smooya around the map to make crazy plays, or Tapsin for that matter with the AWP. And so once again, it just feels so demoralizing. Your money just gets eliminated once more. It feels like you're always having to play safe. You can't take huge risks. And at this point, Faze are 3 rounds away from winning this map, so they're going to save, then it's going to be 2 rounds away, and they're going to have to take some huge risks, whether they like it or not. This has definitely been a very slow start from Big.
Guardian boosted up. Again, on previous teams, this was an automatic veto. I'm sure he's enjoying playing Cash.
I forgot about that, you're right.
New Cash to come, some months away, I would presume. Faze waiting for Big. I mean, you have to respect Gobby. You have to give him the opportunity to try and do something, because if you don't, it might cost you everything.
The worst thing as well about that last round is that it just came down to just messing up on some fights. But the way that Gobby and Big had read the T rotations was absolutely perfect. The way that they understood where they would be at 1 minute, how to counter it, where they put everyone in place, how they use their utility. It was just such a good read. And so for the round to fall flat in that fashion it's very sad.
Yeah, especially with the bait setup with the AWP and the rifle around quad. That really sucked for them. It's a shame that one of these teams has to go. However, there can only be one ultimate winner. Cloud9 waiting in the wings. We had a flashbang for a pop flash play in this round. That hasn't worked out for them. 28 seconds left and Faze have swarmed the B-bomb site. Adren playing containment for the time being. Cat and mouse. Cat always wins.
Nicely done by Adren. It's also a shame because I actually still wonder if maybe we'll see it, but I felt like that previous round was a good candidate for Sean's map tactics. I'm not sure what he'll have in the bag for later, but 14-8, that's the reality that is there for Big. This has been a very difficult game. One of the reasons why I think everybody respects a team like Astralis so much is that even when they have a slow start for whatever reason, and a game looks like this and it's been a struggle, they always seem to somehow find a way to make it incredibly competitive and bring it to a very, very close game, if not actually making a full-on comeback. And that's the psychological test that we have here for Big, because they've had few opportunities. They've had few opportunities to feel good in the game, and in some of the spots where they needed to get the wins and they had the advantages, they've been unable to perform how they would have liked to. So they have all that playing against them, and now they just have to press that reset button. We've got that tactical from Faze, actually. They want to end this right now.
I really wonder if anyone ever... I guess I don't think anyone ever ecos here and goes against game point, because if they win here Big with almost 0 utility, then they have 1 round later on. So it would be crazy to do otherwise. Gobby and Smooya towards B bomb site. Looks like a rush B. No stop from Faze clan. So far so good. A flying UMP to take out Smooya. Nico continues the charge. He wants to close this out very quickly, not allowing Gobby to have any chance to read what they're doing. Tizian doing the best he can, avoid not managing to kill Guardian, but Xantares is somewhere and he's fragging players. 3 versus 2. Suddenly Big have a man advantage.
I have no idea how Xantares got into that position, straight deep in checkers, and now it's Tapsin also holding that rotation of the bomb, and all of a sudden Guardian finds himself alone and without anything to help him out here, just a single Molotov, scoping back up to try to catch one more player, but nice white peek comes in from Tizian, finds the head with the MP9. Where the hell did Xantares come from?
I think he teleported.
Did he dive in from heaven into checkers? How did he get there? My God.
Oh yeah, we went through the vent. Here we
yes.
go. Antares with the M4A4. Tap hand with this.
Wow, that second kill as well completely saved.
No!
Saved Tizian.
Yeah, he couldn't believe that. They had so many advantages. He jumped in, he got 2 kills with the UMP, and it all collapsed. Antares said no, the big red button was pressed.
Okay, this just got real, James. This just got exciting. Are they going to go for it again? They feel like they should have had that one. They're going to go for the same strat again. Now here's Gopi. Are they more ready for this? Smuya opens up. He is ready for this. Actually gets a frag, having to throw the smokes in the mollies. They're everywhere. Absolute chaos once again as Big come in from the big rotation. And now things start to slow down, but there is the bomb. It's on the bomb site. Reigns made it his way all the way onto the side. And this is absolutely crazy, James. They've got to go for a retake, 5 versus 4.
This is almost a T-execute in reverse, and they haven't gone through with him. I think they all wanted to just contain these players, and Reigns was on the bomb site on his own, didn't plant the bomb because he's on his own, and he's been fragged. The bomb's just sitting there. Nobody went through these smokes. They know there's a bunch of CTs there, but maybe they didn't know that Smear smoked the other side, and now we're in a 4v2 situation after God B goes down, and it's about survival for Big. The focus is on their economy. They need to stay alive. And they're doing so very, very well. There's a whole minute for Guardian to fall back. He can go hero AWP. I want to say Virtus Pro showed that first with Pasha. 1 AWP and nothing else on the T side. They managed to win rounds like that. So it's entirely plausible that Guardian carves people up in the round to come. So this is a big gun to hold on to.
What's crazy, just think of it like this, James. In the last 2 rounds were like very fast rushes from Faze, which were blown up by Big. Big survived 4 players here and 3 players in the previous one. Big just eliminated maybe like $60,000 to $80,000 of equipment in like a minute and a half. It's kind of, when you think about it like that, it's pretty nuts. That's incredible that they hold that. It's very difficult to hold those very fast rushes when you're just not ready. Very difficult indeed, but they managed to do it. There's Molotovs everywhere.
Yeah, I think if Faze knew that Smear had smoked himself off because of the deep molly, then they would have gone through the smoke. But as far as they know, Smear's standing there just waiting to frag them, which leaves Rain isolated on the site in a very strange situation.
Oh, nicely done. Finds Guardian at the last moment. Beautiful pickoff. Wow. They had the perfect positions to stop this. 2 players in checkers, creating delay with the smokes, bought time for the rotation. And all of a sudden, James, Big have a lot of momentum. Out of nowhere, they have so much momentum. They've got all the money. It's the first time, I think, in this entire map of Counter-Strike, in round 25, where we're seeing this.
We're both listening to Janko talk since they're the team closest to us.
Yeah.
He's giving them very, very exact instructions. Rain, on your camera there, 25 frags. He has turned up today and then some. He's leading the charge on the entire server. Needs to continue to do so. Guardian's the one a little slow with 8 kills so far. The money's been broken for FaZe Clan. No grenades in this round. 2 P250s, 3 Glocks. All off heading towards B. The rest of the team focused towards A. Will it be a slow one? They'll have to wait out the initial grenades with no Kevlar. Rain's not shy though. Feeling confident. Up close. He's waiting for a pop flash. You can see him looking away. Just as Smuya was in the first half when Nico walked through the smoke and shot him because of Smuya's spray. So the first grenades are down. And FaZe now moving towards the B bomb site, leaving Rain towards A on the other side of main thanks to that smoke. Got B and Smuya in the checkers area. And here comes the numbers game.
There it is. Brumbies comes in. The numbers game as James described, but really strong positions here from Gopi. Oh, that's a nice spot for the nade. They have nowhere to go. Oh, but really need to hit that one. And all of a sudden, they are actually making their way into some position. It's a bit awkward here. Losing a bit more than they would have liked, but they should stop the plant. Nicely done by Gopi. 11 rounds to the 14 of FaZe. Now, what we were hearing from Janko could start to come into play.
Well, now we just got a real match.
Yeah.
3 rounds between the 2 teams. Now things are getting interesting. We need to get some Xantares towel designs. That's the kind of memes we want to see today. Send them to Eleague.
Have like a quilted design of all the memes of Jason's head. That'd be kind of cool. No?
I like how you tied it all together, Dan.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what FaZe Clan have in store on this occasion. Adren's on a UMP, so things are still not ideal for the FaZe Clan boys. Over towards Squeaky as usual. May not want to reveal, though, that he's in Squeaky with a UMP, because that is a... If someone's highway, for example, and he starts peeking, that's not a good duel for him. The damage fall-off was made worse, let's not forget, back when the UMP was very popular. Two players boosted up. Olofmeister quietly carrying the bomb towards A, or perhaps to a place to throw a grenade. Guardians just holding a B push, very passive.
So they want to go for that explosion out the door as they pull players away from the A-bomb side. That's what it all comes down to. That's what FaZe are trying to do. All the CTs out of position, but with this harassment here, they look to be in pretty decent position overall, but there it is. We start to see Xantares helping mid just for a moment. Is there a timing here? FaZe are looking to find it. They're looking to force that timing, in fact. They can close up mid for this split. This is looking very scary here from FaZe. A very ominous presence approaches highway.
3 players on the site though, and Smear forced to rotate because of the smoke. This is going to be a giant fight on the A side. Unless they pull away with it, it's going to be Guardian. Has got a second one in him. He's continuing to hunt. There it is, straight in the face for Xantares. Smear takes a Dren down, but the numbers are favoring FaZe. 4 versus 2. The bomb's on the sides already. No one needs to cross now. They can hold these angles. The flashbang. They know where Smear is. There's only one question mark, and it's got B, and he's towards B. He's miles away. So it looks like Big will have to concede this round. Now, if they could save these 2 weapons, which won't be the case, they could have bought around them. They can still buy. They're likely to. I'm sure Gobi will try to save the AWP, but he will no doubt be hunted.
Really strong rounds from FaZe. Tries to go for the 180, not going to happen. Denied. Very well played indeed. Yanko's calling there that we heard played out beautifully here. FaZe obviously executed it very well, particularly these shots from Guardian. Oh, this looks so sexy. Doesn't even Guardian have the AWP. And he's been having a slow game, and is that difference of experience actually that we heard talked about on the desk, where if you compare Guardian and Smear, well, Smear might have his moments, but Guardian's going to just, even if he's not getting kills, he's got so much experience that you can, if you set him up, he's still going to be consistent. You just have to get him in those spots.
I love how into it and animated Yanko is. It's really fun to watch. Very, very specific stuff. This is setting expectations of their opponent. This is what we want to do. This is how we handle it. This is the kind of timing we have. It's really awesome. It's always great to see Yanko nerding out on the desks. One of the best talkers about the game that we have, and now he's able to do even better and stand behind FaZe Clan, which is really awesome. Big have been able to buy. They've gone for 2 sniper rifles in this round. They are 4 rounds away, and it's game point for FaZe Clan, looking to take a 1-0 lead in this semi-final. With a head to face Cloud9 later on. Ooh, just shaving any hair from God B's ears if there was any.
Yeah, would have just about dodged there indeed. Ooh, so, a different approach here from the CT setup for Big. They are managing to get, as we saw, God B into a close position to try to defend against those fast pushes. Ooh, does he find a timing there? I think, well, he did jump and run around, so they would hear that he is close to mid. So they might be holding for a mid-push from the CTs, so we can't do it.
Smear's been dancing around back and forth with Guardian outside the B-bomb site, just spotting and noting that he's keeping an eye on things, and that might be a clue. He's left. Oh no, he's going up top. I was going to say, seeing Guardian standing there keeping an angle might be a clue to Gobi that there probably aren't many people in that direction, and his action elsewhere. Nico's been taken out by Tabson. Rain having a look. Gobi's in the most awkward angle possible. Oh, he spotted some of him. Almost a double pick. Xantares doing the job. Bomb left outside the A area. 43 seconds remain for FaZe Clan.
And there may have been an opportunity missed here. It's very unusual for Big, for any CT side, to have 3 players in mid like this when there's 35 seconds left. And they've just been holding that. And Adren had a window much earlier to push out onto the site, but Tizian is just like chilling back there, and now Adren will go for that push, maybe a little bit too late, and he'll get taken down. Guardian, once again, last man standing without too much left to do, and he's continually in these spots. Really cool from Big. Again, another great read from them.
The confidence is brilliant. It's 5 versus 1, and they know he's not going to go towards the B-bomb site, so they rotate more people to hunt him. Nico looking for info, got a bit too much. Just the dry peaks from FaZe Clan being punished by these double AWPs. And Big are pretty happy. They know they've reset FaZe Clan, the money's been annihilated. So there's not much to be had for FaZe Clan in this particular round, or is there?
Yeah, I wonder what was holding Adren from pushing earlier when things started to go wrong.
It looks like they've chosen to go for a force buy.
Oh yeah.
So ignore everything I said, now it's become quite dangerous.
Yeah, some of these explosions have looked very scary, for sure.
I feel like Guardian maybe should give the AK to anybody who uses it by default. Like a Nico or a Rain. I think that would make sense right now.
That was very close timing. Xantares almost got so many kills. And look at that. With that pop flash play, now there's 4 players on the A-bomb side. This is just not ideal at all. You don't have the element of surprise. You will try to move in with the numbers behind the smokes with the flashbangs and Molotovs, but these CTs, there's lots of counter utility coming in. There's a big sprays from Tizian, from Xantares, and now there's just 2 players left. Looking very unlikely they can get a bomb plant now, let alone some kills. As Adren looks Spirit, but he can't find it. It's up to Nico. Finds himself 2 off the spray. How much more will he find now as he goes for another one? That's 3, but there it is on the cross. Smia finds him, and that's going to be big with 13 rounds. 2 more to go for overtime.
Nico used the AK from the start. or anyone who just mains the rifle over the AWP, I think is reasonable, especially based on form in this particular game. If you look at Rain, for example, who's 26 for 20, but here we are. Eco time for FaZe Clan, so they can't even capitalize on those 3 kills from Nico for the final round to come. There'll be a flashbang and there'll be a P250, and that is it for FaZe. This may be a fast one. Is that going to be a meaty HE? Oh, not bad. Okay, ding dong. And now Smear's got to try and hold of a P250. That's the bomb flying out of the bomb site. They really need that money. Can they get the bomb down? I don't think so now. That would have been helpful. But they will still have the AK-47s, and Nico can buy an AWP if needed.
Really smart from Smuya to keep to switch to the P250, because there's a world where you think, well, they're just going to run onto the site and plant. But instead, they try to go and take him down, which is a really smart play. Because otherwise, imagine if he shoots a shot here, misses that, or hits it, doesn't matter, he dies. 2 players left, maybe they can pick up the AWP, then it could start to get a bit hairy. But Smuya, great decision-making, hits the shots under pressure. Now, 14 to 15, 1 more round to go. 4 buys for both teams. No AWP for FaZe Clan, but it hasn't helped them much anyway on the T side so far.
Will it be another overtime in this series of E-League? I've seen a fair few already this week. Of course, so the sniper's creeping through the smoke on both sides, both towards A and B at the moment. Both elevated on boxes. Tease, can he get away in time though? He's got a teammate for support. Make it as safe as they can. Early engagements will not have any fruit for either side. Tizian alone in mid at the moment, and Godby's starting to rotate away, leaving Smuya in an aggressive position. Plenty of times a big player's been entrusted with the B bomb site on their own. Seem to have a good handle on what might be going on.
And for FaZe as well, it's very scary going to mid, because Big have shown that in a few rounds that they are willing to have 3 players on mid at a late timing like this. So they'll go over the top, they'll take their chances. 45 seconds to go. Tizian's going for it. Oh, it's just not quite in position in time, but still manages to recover. Finds the kill as they start to move towards the vent. That might indicate that they're going towards B. You can see that call is being made, that they're trying to get into the vent, and that rotation now is coming to support the B players. Nico battling in mid, but the trade's there from Tapson.
26 seconds for them to charge towards the site, and the cross smoke has disappeared. And who's on the site? It's Xantares. He's got an M4A4 and he loves the situation. A flashback to his teammate. He's not working it close. The transfer's not there, and the frags will be advantage FaZe for now. Now they can get the bomb down in this 2 versus 2. And we already have Adren in a post-plant situation. Don't go too far though, because Godby and Smuya are almost on the site already. The shadow seen, and Guardian gets the frag. Adren moving up now. Smuya in a 1 versus 1 of the AWP, just walking into ankles. No idea where Adren is, but now is he fast enough to take out Guardian? He sees him! Oh, in the red, but he can't quite do it. It's not fatal. FaZe Clan take the first map, 16 to 14.
Oh man, it's got to feel so bad for Big. A 2v2 clutch to take the map after all of that. But you got to give it to them, the heart. They managed to bring themselves back into this one, and it was looking like they were down and out for so very long, and that's going to be such a boost going into the next map. Great stuff though from Faze. They managed to close it. So many nail biters here at Eleague. We'll have to find out more from the desk after the break.